Hello, everybody. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Thanks for being here. We're just going to give another minute to make sure everybody who signed up gets logged in, doesn't have any problems, and we'll get started here momentarily. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us this afternoon. This is the webinar titled Your Roadmap to Custom and Commercial Signs, hosted by Bright Idea Shops. We're very excited about being here today and hosting this. It's our first webinar, so if there's any blunders, please forgive us. My name is Vanna Robbins, and I am your moderator today. And we have just a couple of housekeeping items. First, of course, that you are muted, but we really encourage you to ask as many questions as you want. And if you look over in your chat box on the right-hand side on my screen and click the little chat button, you'll see where you can type in any of your questions. So please, we really do encourage you to ask any and all questions, and we promise that we'll answer all of them at the end of the presentation. The webinar today is being recorded, and we will make that recording available to you. It will be posted on our website, but then a couple of days after today's webinar, we're going to send you a separate email that'll have just a real short survey in it, and we'll also have the link to the webinar there as well. So you definitely will have access to that. I think that's all of the housekeeping stuff. So let's get started. I'd like to introduce Alan Robbins to you. He's our first presenter today. Alan is the president and owner of Bright Idea Shops, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how Bright Idea Shops got started in the recycled plastics industry, and in fact is actually a pretty integral part of recycled material usage in the Parks and Rec industry and in the commercial signage industry. Oh, and before I forget, one more thing, if you would please, just type in a real quick note to us and let us know if you have a project, a sign project that you're working on right now, or maybe if you know of a sign project that's coming up. That might be kind of interesting. So thank you. Alan?
Thank you, Vanna, and also thank you for those attending. Hoping all is well and safe in your worlds. A little corporate background. This is our first webinar of this nature for this sign market. We had some 48 registrants here. We'll see how many actually make it. It is going to be recorded, so you can come back and view it, or other people within your organizations can review it. Just a little background history about Bright Idea Shops in park signage marketplace. My story begins in 1993 near Crested Butte, Gunnison, Colorado. The National Park Service was doing a demonstration project for new material systems for large entrance signs at Curacanty National Recreation Area. Now, the Park Service had problems, lots of problems. At that time, their current sign specification was vertical grain, Purple Heart redwood. Very environmentally sensitive wood, extremely low in supply, and very high in cost. And with wooden signs, there's a lot of work that takes to make them. You had to select your materials, you had to glue it up, you set it aside for a couple of days to dry, you plane it to your thickness, you route it, you sand it, you prep it, you paint your color, set the color aside for a day to dry, bring it back out, prep, paint, set aside, let it dry, prep, paint. Well, you get the idea. Expensive work, labor intense process. They also had big maintenance issues because of the climate they were in. Now, Curacanie's in a high desert. And we were told that every 3 to 5 years, they repainted or refurbished these entrance signs at nearly the cost of the original sign. And these are big signs. And then uniquely, they had another problem, large caliber bullet vandalism. And kind of the code of that area was, if we don't get an elk, we're going to get a sign. And they would shoot these signs, and a large blowout at the bullet exit area would cause irreparable damage and really massive deterioration. Now, the Park Service had done their homework and was very encouraged by the high density polyethylene multicolor material system, and they were looking for high recycled content. They'd seen these materials effectively used in the side panels of playground structures, but they had a lot of questions. How did it hold up to bullets? As I mentioned before, well, they actually shot this thing right by me. Of course, the bullet went through, but it was a controlled damage. It kind of didn't explode out the back that they had with the wooden signs, kind of mushroomed out. They either let it be, or they could create a plug and plug it up and be just fine. And they were delighted by that results. They also questions about outdoor durability and outdoor exposure situations. Were these plastics, recycled plastic resins and additives good enough? And just think about the wide range of climates that the Park Service has to deal with. You've got Alaska, you've got deserts, you've got rainforests, and everything in between. Really broad range, and it had to solve all these problems. Was the color matches and the color stability good enough? Now, the Park Service had a brown-white color scheme, and that was really pretty easy. Those browns and whites have been around in outdoor usage for quite a while. The Forest Service, they had a special yellow, which was really challenging to do it properly. Now, cheap yellow colorants, they fade very quickly. Within a 2-year period, you would have a color shift that was unacceptable. A more costly color pigment was needed to provide that long-term color stability that the Forest Service desired. So now, let's fast forward some 29 years since that first humble beginning. You get to see the rest of our story. Proudly, Bright Idea Shops is growing into a world-class sign shop with a highly successful niche in this park-type signage marketplace. Hopefully, from what you will learn from this webinar, it will inspire you and your creative ideas. You will become very comfortable with our wide range of design capabilities. And this is a useful roadmap to help make a beautiful sign for your next project, no matter how big or how small it might be. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our primary presenter today, Ben Dinker. He's degreed in fine arts and has 20 years experience in graphic design. He's responsible for all the sales and sign design in this area and business development here at Bright Idea Shops. So take it over, Ben.
Thanks, Alan, and hello, everyone. My name's Ben, and I'm going to be your contact for all of your signage projects. So I have prepared a presentation for our outdoor signage. The goal here is to explain our products, our expertise, and the overall process of getting a sign from us. I'll explain who we work with, what kind of projects we work on, the services we offer, the materials we use, and the basic process to making it all happen. Again, my name's Ben, so thanks for joining. And as I said, if you have any questions, please type them into the chat and we can address them at the end. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so who do we work for? At Bright Idea Shops, we work with municipalities, communities, and organizations, businesses, and the individual customer. Each customer receives the same attention to detail as each customer provides us the opportunity for learning and growth. Many of our customers are in the municipalities. Because we specialize in outdoor signage, a lot of our work can be seen in parks and cities. The number one benefit with our product is that it is maintenance free. A sign system that can be installed and never worried about again is a huge benefit to park crews that have more important priorities. For this reason, we are a premier outdoor signage manufacturer. And when I say we work with municipalities, we work with the entire range, from large federal and state level, all the way down to the townships and boroughs. Many of the state level jobs are projects put out to bid, and sometimes we will work through contractors and subcontractors. City and town level jobs are often direct contacts, and we work personally with the people working and living in those areas. Because of this, we have experience working directly with people such as mayors, directors, and superintendents. Point being, whatever level of contact is necessary works. Some projects will require several eyes or even a full board for approvals, and some projects are as simple as me and a superintendent. For municipalities, money that is not in the city budget is obtained through grants. We are accustomed to working on grant submissions, including all of the required quote estimates and draft layouts needed to secure those projects. Grant submissions can take months to acquire, and quoting is often one of the first steps. For example, it is common for a project quote, say in January, that is not approved until June. Another group are the communities, the organizations, and schools. Small communities need to raise money for a community garden. Organizations run programs for donors and raising awareness, an example being the Keep the City Beautiful programs. And schools need a variety of signage, like entrance signs, parking lot, and as you can see here, sports signage. Another are the HOAs, the homeowners associations. HOAs are a sort of a mini version of an entire city. They have entrance signs, street signs, trail signs, and many of these also include ponds or wooded areas, and that all needs signage similar to a typical state park, just on a smaller scale. HOAs are privately owned, but often have a community that vote on needs because their HOA fees pay for a portion of the project. We also work with many of the Scouts, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and Eagle Scouts. I've worked with both the troop leaders and the Scouts themselves on their projects, and we offer discounts to help with their funding. And funding is the common denominator these groups share. Each of them rely upon it. And much like grants, it is common to quote projects first so that these organizations can submit to their group for funding and return later to proceed with the project. The main benefit the municipalities and all of these organizations share is that they want a cost-efficient, maintenance-free product that will last. And that's exactly what you get with our signs here at Bright Idea Shops. Finally, the businesses and the private consumers. Businesses are looking for the same durable, maintenance-free signage, and every business needs an outdoor sign. To install most signs, businesses will require permission from their city. So they will need permits, which include the submittal of drawings and sizes and weights. And we write these specs. We'll fill them out, fill out the forms, submit them to the city for the planners to review. And that's just one of many services offered here at Bright Idea Shops. While most of our business is comprised of large park projects, we can handle these small jobs too. Individual customers have private address signs, privately owned docks, or even acres of land they want to mark as such. No job is too big or too small, and a lot of times these small private jobs can be the most fun because there are fewer limitations. Each job is customized for the client. This is a local job. The customer came to me with a rough drawing of the bloodroot flower and asked how to make it into a sign. They wanted to make it out of the routed Hdpe material. We discussed the sign, colors, we did several layouts, and we were able to bring their idea to life. So come to us with your big ideas, and we'll work with you every step to make it happen. It is often with these private jobs where we have the opportunity for growth. These types of customers are often not looking for the standard entrance sign because they look to stand apart from the rest and capture the attention of their audience. Where else are you going to find a giant tooth with removable nameplates? And despite most of these projects being on a smaller scale than the typical city project, everyone will receive the same care and attention. References and reviews are important to us. A returning customer and a new customer that mentioned they came across our sign and asked where it was from is one of the best compliments we can receive. So homeowners association entrance signs, private small farm address signs, putt-putt golf business signs, and city park entrance signs. Bright Idea Shops can provide the best maintenance-free outdoor sign system for your needs. So projects, what do we make? Each project here at Bright Idea Shops is custom fit to the individual project. Our goal is to create greater visibility for your subject with a great looking, long-lasting product. And while every sign here is custom, there are staples in the outdoor signage industry that every project will fall into. Entrance signs account for many of our signs. From city entrance to park entrance, these are often some of the largest signs we make because of their location. Entrance signs will note the broad content of their location, such as ball fields, splash pads, nature preserves, and even facility details like parking lots and restrooms. Welcome signs are often a bit simpler since they are on high traffic roads, and their purpose is just that, to welcome people to the city. Big sign, large letters, these make the best welcome signs. Roads can range from 25 to 50 miles per hour, but plugging in the proper information can easily give us the required size to maximize visibility. And visibility is key. You want to be sure your audience can easily read a sign as they approach or drive by. And by determining the priority of the elements in your sign, we can design around those features for the best possible result. And every city requires welcome to signs, and because there are multiple routes in and out, creating a concise design is important for your brand. The best branding is recognized without content. Shape and color can put your area in a class of its own. As guests approach a sign, before even reading the name of the park, they instantly know what district owns the area. Branding can give your area the professional touch that keeps guests coming back. Welcome signs, entrance signs, and navigation signs are all part of the street sign category. These signs are typically viewed by the public traveling in vehicles, and they offer points of information, direction, and these signs are some of the largest, most visible signs in our catalog. Off-road and internal signs make up another category. These are signs that are posted at trailheads, in a parking lot, or inside of a park. They're not meant to be seen by drivers, so therefore they can include more detailed information about the area. Trail sign and markers are also one of these subcategories. These line public trails through the woods or in cities. They are small with either minimal amounts of information or symbols and icons. Some markers are a sign and a post, and others are post only. The trail marker on the left here notes the trail name and the donor. The trail markers on the right are for navigation, and navigation markers require careful planning. Many of these markers will also require a trail header sign that gives a legend and/or map at the beginning of a trail. These signs can also include rules and regulation, navigation and direction, and general or historical information about the location. This map I custom designed to pair with a fit trail project. I included several notable locations along the path, all with the fit trail exercise stations. Like public parks, campgrounds require similar signs, just with different names. Example, site markers and forest symbols. Since many of these areas have limited staffing, the durability of our product is ideal. We offer camp markers that include permit holders and power labels. Markers can be reflective, and we even offer a special glow-in-the-dark resin that will last for a few hours after dark. Finally, one of the most popular signs in this category is the interpretive sign. These are the signs with educational or historical content, photos, illustrations, and lots of copy. Interpretive signs are often mounted on pedestals for easy reading that enhance the user experience. Historical signs make up a big part of the interpretive catalog. These signs can either note the history of a landmark or a historical figure related to the area. Historical signs can illustrate information about dinosaurs and fossils, glaciers and climate. Many of these styles are made from plaques or the printed laminate. These right here are a set of aluminum plaques for the MacDill Air Force Base. This particular set commemorates the WW2 planes. The customer submitted badges and the text content. I redrew all of the badges and set the type for the uniform appearance you see in the photo. Educational signs can also be interactive, something hands-on to catch the guest's attention. While we have many standards, we specialize in customization. Learning doesn't have to be stationary, and in this example here, you can quiz yourself on the local wildlife by spinning discs and flipping panels. All of this was customized here at Bright Idea Shops from ideas starting with the customer. And learning is key to keeping your user experience fresh. If you capture your guest's attention, you will keep them coming back. Capturing their attention is achieved through design, easy reading, attractive elements, and illustrations. We want to help you get the most out of each sign because a happy customer is a return customer. Commemorative and memorial signs are another category. These signs are more personal and sometimes focused around a single person or a group. This sign was for the fountain at the town center. Citizens that donated to the restoration were listed in groups, along with all the location info around it. Other programs like memorial tree stakes and signs are cost-effective and interactive. Parks will plant baby trees with a memorial sign for residents to honor their loved ones. Finally, the personal signs for the private consumer. Not every pond, river, lake, or wooded area is public property. Address signs have become a popular category recently, and we can customize mailbox holders, posts, house numbers, and I even made a leave packages here sign for deliveries at my house. And because we offer customized signage, our projects have a wide range. We can use our material to craft mat boxes, containers, or even beer taps and flight boards. Some signs we make today, we have been making for 30 years, and others are brand new. So share your idea with us. Coming up with new and creative ways to make a sign is our specialty. All right, water timeout. as a reminder, if you have any questions, please type those into the chat, and Vanna will check them out after this presentation. So services, what do we offer? At Bright Idea Shops, we offer you the tools to complete your project from beginning to end. From the planning stages to install, we will help guide every step of the way. Because each project is unique, each project will have different starting points. Some customers may have layout plans ready from the start, like their colors, their size, quantities, etc. But other customers need assistance with planning from the beginning. We can pick up and go from any point in your project to find out what works best for you. There are several factors that go into starting a project. The first stage of planning a sign project is determining the location. Where is the sign being mounted? On the street, in a parking lot, on a trail? The distance of an entrance sign to the viewer and the speed limits of the road will help determine how large the lettering in your sign will need to be for readability. Size is the next factor. After determining readability, we can establish the size of the content. After letter size, we can shape the sign to establish the required sign size. The majority of the cost in each sign project is wrapped up in the square footage of the sign. And determining letter size is all based on a formula. Plugging in the information like the distance from the sign to the viewer or the speed limit of the road can quickly give us the minimum and maximum results for your project. We don't want your guests to miss a sign because it was too small to read as they drove by. Visibility, color, and enhancements like reflectivity are other features to consider. We don't want your sign to be missed, so knowing where your sign will be installed is important. Like, are there streetlights? Is it in a heavily wooded area? How far off the road will it be? These are all questions we will have for your project. But not every sign needs to be highly visible. And in fact, some are meant to blend in with nature rather than stick out. These questions will help guide us in the right direction. We also offer plotting trails, paths, maps, and distance markers. From simple to complex, we can detail your map as much as you need. Locally, we can visit parks and even plot your trail or park personally. All of these aspects are important factors that help us write you accurate estimates in the beginning stage of your project. These estimates will help you budget, which is an important first step in most projects. Sign design is a big feature we can offer here at Bright Idea Shops. It makes us a one-stop shop for your project. With a degree in graphic design and 20 years of on-the-job experience, I can help with any stage of your project. We also have experienced sign makers and partners to aid in bringing your projects to life. Combined, you're in good hands. With decades of experience, we're a team prepared for any project. Our materials are unique, and not everyone has the experience to handle these jobs. Often we will be given engineering plans with specs that need revised because, quite simply, wood is not plastic. We have experience not only starting projects from scratch, but also working directly with architects and engineers to make their vision work with our materials. The more complex signs require topography and copy setting, logo recreation and repair, and custom sign shapes and color. In this example, the customer supplied me the name and the description for each flower. The rest was on me. I searched and purchased photos from our preferred stock photo website, and the design, layout, color, and shape were all customized. We can also design the interpretive signage that includes photos and illustrations, maps and drawings, and a variety of full color elements for maximum visibility. Maps are a very important part to park or trail because they help you locate yourself in the area and then navigate. Laying out the amenities and attractions to a guest is a great way to give them that full user experience. One of our most in-depth sign projects is a new branding project. Branding is how you make your area stand apart. Good branding is immediately recognizable. We can do this with new logos, new colors, and a new style. Here, we updated the Perry County Health Department from an old rusted metal structure to a new routed Hdpe sign. We can work to find a unique look for your area. For the Fairfield Suisun project, they wanted to focus the sign around their logo. They had several types of signs: entrance signs, small and large directional signs. They had building signage, freestanding signage, aluminum signage, and all of it was themed around their logo with that blue, white, black color palette. Branding takes careful planning. Branding is not just one sign, it is an entire program. That doesn't mean the entire program is in the first project though. It can be a long-term plan. We can set the pace, price each project, and over a couple years, we can change the look of your area. Because our products last for decades, it's easy to add signs over several years' time that all look brand new. The ultimate goal is to get you recognized immediately. If we can create a style for you, it makes every sign after easier because you already have a template. Everyone who sees your sign will know your brand. They can describe it to their family as a landmark, saying something like, "I just passed the Fairfield Park sign," and everyone knows exactly what you're referring to. At Bright Idea Shops, we aim to be your one-stop shop for our outdoor signs. Water park signs, disc golf signs, nature preserve signs, and habitat signs. We can design it and build it any way you need. At Bright Idea Shops, our focus is on sustainability. We want our products to stand the test of time, and that's just what each of our materials offer. So, what are our materials, and what do we work with? Our staple product is the Hdpe recycled plastic signboard. This signboard comes from the 40% post-consumer recycled plastic containers like milk and detergent jugs, and it is formed into solid sheets. This is the material we've been using for 30 years. The signboard is a triple layer, dual colored board. It comes in several thicknesses, but we tend to stick with the 3/4 board as it is the strongest in most applications. These signs are routed with a CNC system. Therefore, they all have a dimensional aspect. While most sheets come out of a 4x8, we do have methods to achieve signs larger than that if needed. And any shape can be cut, but we do offer dozens of stock shapes to start. Letters can be routed in a recessed or raised style. Recessed is the standard method seen on top here with the City of Parma. Raised letter routing comes with a slight upcharge and can be seen on the bottom two signs for the James W. Day Park. In addition, a single piece of material can be used to make a double-sided sign when mounted between the posts. So I've been preaching maintenance free, but what does that mean? It means our materials are weather and graffiti resistant. This is a sign I made a few months ago. Days after installation, it was graffitied with black spray paint. Because the material is non-porous, paint will not stick. And in most cases, a pressure washer and soap and water can remove the graffiti. In addition to our Hdpe signboard, we pair that with our Hdpe posts and dados. We use a unique dado structure for mounting signs between our posts to prevent sag and sway. These types of signs are often used for entrance and trail signage or any sign exceeding 2 feet in width. The other main sign material we offer is the high pressure laminate and the fiberglass embedded signage. These materials are utilized when routing in 2-color won't work, or for content heavy signs. The main difference is that these signs are printed in a CMYK full color process, something that the Hdpe signboard cannot achieve. If your sign requires multiple colors, a logo, and any elaborate design, these materials can accomplish that. HPL and FE also have all the same maintenance-free aspects that our Hdpe signage does. They are weather and graffiti resistant, and the laminate and gel coatings on these signs allow easy cleanup if soiled. These materials are the prime example of interpretive signage. These signs offer features like photo printing, illustrations, and large amounts of text printed with no size restrictions. If your project has paragraphs of information, this is the material system to consider. Each of these come with several options for mounting as well. Upright, pedestal, single and double-sided signs, and single or double posts, depending on the size. We can also offer customized features in the aluminum post structures with tooled aluminum shapes or designs in the frame, whatever you need to make your project unique. To complement projects, we also offer reflective and non-reflective aluminum signage. These are cut from vinyl or printed in full color, and we use the top grade 3M sheeting and coating for our aluminum. These signs are often used for road signs and parking lot signs, usually meant to complement an existing project and aid in visibility. We also offer metal and acrylic sign letters for dimensional appearances. These can be combined with our Hdpe lumber as a backing structure, as seen here in the Hannah Commercial Center sign. Acting as both a standalone sign and accents to larger signs, we offer a variety of plaques, all of which are outdoor grade. Our plaques are made from bronze, brass, or aluminum. These signs are perfect for memorials and historical projects, and they all come with a lifetime guarantee. For lower cost options, we can also laser engrave row mark plastic. And not every sign is just one sign material, and some require accents. A couple of the most popular accents are epoxy color fill and vinyl inserts. Epoxy color fill is used as a method to add additional color to Hdpe signs to features such as borders, letters, and logos. Full color printed vinyl inserts are used for logos or small scale photos that get recessed into the Hdpe sign. In this sign here, the amenity icons are colored in epoxy, and the Somerville town logo is printed in a vinyl acrylic insert. Each project at Bright Idea Shops is custom. Therefore, each project can combine a variety of materials. Most projects include at least 2 different materials. And because we've worked with these materials for decades, we can advise the best for each application. One of the biggest benefits of working with Bright Idea Shops is our versatility. We can use pre-existing posts, like in the Mackinac project. We can work around fabricated structures like brick pillars in the Mount Pleasant, and this is also another example of the raised acrylic lettering. We can mix materials like laminate plaques, like laminate and plaques, like they're in the Put-in-Bay. And we even use variable naming spreadsheets to make these 500 plaques for the University of North Carolina. So the process, how to run a project. Projects can start at any point, and we're here to pick up wherever that might be. Next, I'm going to break down the process so you can decide what might be the best for your project. First, the contact is really the best way to start. Phone or email, a quick 15-minute conversation outlining everything we've covered is often enough time to get a handle on the scope of your project. For customers coming in with plans of their own, our website offers forms illustrating options for the signs. Plus, I can email you any tools you might need to start the project. Submitting a quote is the first goal. Most customers are working with a budget. So before getting into the fine details, we want to be able to estimate your cost. In the quote, I'll give you as much information to work with. That means itemizing the project elements, estimating the shipping costs, and providing you a lead time on the proposal. It's also at this point where we will settle on terms and deposits. After the preliminary quote approval, we will move to the design and the proofing stage. This is where we get into the fine details of the project. Since each project is different, we will give you expectations on lead time and this process. Generating designs for content-heavy interpretive signs or custom artwork is going to take a bit more time than a simple no parking sign. Depending on the project, we will also mail you samples for color and content approval. And because our products last so long, we want to make sure that the proofing process is extensive enough to avoid any errors. After quote and proof approval, projects move into production. And for the most part, the customer's job is complete. Projects run on an average of 4 to 6 weeks from final approval to shipping. I will always be available for updates along the way, and I might even need to address something with you while in production as well. Lately, due to supply chain issues that many businesses have faced, certain projects have been pushed to 8 to 10 weeks. But when projects are complete, we will ship either LTL or through our UPS ground account. Each project is delivered with instructions on install and all the hardware needed for mounting. So what are the next steps? Give us a call, send in an email, and let's start a conversation. Most projects don't happen overnight. You will need to plan, and I will have questions. There will likely be a couple of quote and proof revisions, so get planning early. It's rare to start a project on a Monday and go to production on Friday. Personally, I've completed projects that have spanned years. Budgets change, the size and scopes change, but the best way to get the information you need to complete your project is to start the project. So give us a call. All right, thanks for listening to the presentation. I'm going to kick it back to Vanna.
Thank you, Ben. That was great information. Thank you very, very much. A lot of things to consider for sure, and all the colors and the different materials. Great stuff. Now, as I had said at the beginning, we do have some questions, and we'll get to those right now. Let me see here. Okay, Alan, I think this question is going to be for you. And it was mentioned briefly here in the presentation, but what kind of supply chain issues are you experiencing with these materials?
Supply chain, certainly 2021 was a challenge with lots of headwinds. You have two components of supply chain. You have the materials themselves working their way through. A lot of disruption in the plastic area because of the power outages in Texas that caused a lot of plant shutdowns and still unwinding from that. And then you have the people issues. And I'm sure all the attendees have had to deal with people, cohorts or whatever, having COVID or be off, shutdowns of plants required by the states. But, you know, tongue in cheek, I've always said I don't issue purchase orders, I issue hunting permits. But the signage area, they've done a really good job and performed very well. We're seeing some easing of materials availability a little bit at higher prices. There's always a possibility for a hiccup, but we have a very good working relationship with all of our suppliers and work through these issues as they do pop up. But I don't know of anyone else in the commercial sign industry that could deliver a good quality commercial sign better than Bright Idea Shops at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, next question. Ben, I think you may have touched on this a little bit in the presentation, but in general, what kind of lead times are are we looking at once the project is finalized and it goes into production?
It'll depend on the sign. The main part that is pushing us to the 8 to 10 weeks that I mentioned are posts. So if any of your projects have the post in them, that could push it to the 8 to 10. Standard is 4 to 6 though. And once everything's back on track, we'll be back to a standard 4 to 6 lead time. Some of the laminate projects are more like a 3 to 5, but I think a 4 to 6 week is that happy medium.
Great, thank you. And one more question here is about what's included in the quotes. What, you know, when we buy a sign, what do we get with that?
You're gonna get what I like to start with is the itemized report on the quote. So I'm going to give you the shipping estimates. I'm going to give you the details of, let's say it's a sign with some posts. So I'm going to give you all the sizes of the post that you're getting, of the sign size, of the content of the sign, colors, and then of course the pricing for each portion. So if you have a couple posts and everything is itemized, the idea is to itemize everything. That way, if you need to add to or trim, at least you know, because like I mentioned, the budget is important to a lot of our customers. So working with an itemized report really helps you figure out where you can make adjustments.
Okay, thank you. And then kind of a cost comparison, high level, between the routed HDPE signs and then the high pressure laminate signs. How does that typically compare?
Cost comparison, apples to apples, meaning same size of everything. The laminate material or the fiberglass embedded material will usually run about 15% more than the HDPE. A lot of times that can come because of the post structures, and the aluminum is a little bit more expensive. But overall, I would say that it is about the high pressure laminate and fiberglass signage. The printed versions are about 15% more than the routed HDPE plastic.
Okay, great, thank you. Let me check here. I think that's all the questions that we have. But before we go today, again, thank you for your time. But along with these beautiful commercial and custom signs that Bright Idea Shops makes, we also have a full complement and line of other plastic lumber products. For example, here's a picture of some of our picnic tables. We also have park benches, a number of different styles of park benches. And you'll even notice on this next slide that we've incorporated some of the technology that we've talked about here today with the routing on the right and some of the high pressure laminate and the sides and the color fills here on that sign, on that bench on the left. So pretty cool benches. We have waste receptacles. And then our newest product we're pretty excited about is the Ohio State royalty, officially licensed royalty products. So we have a lot of different products to look at. Definitely encourage you to go to our website at www.brightideashops.com. We definitely look forward to hearing from you and working with you. Look out for that survey in the email that will have the survey and the link to the recorded webinar. And thank you again for being here, and be well.